This month in Poppy Love's Book Club, we read The Temporary Bride by Jennifer Klinec, published by Virago.
Hello! Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
It'll be exciting to discuss your book later on. But first I've got a couple of questions for you. The first question is, if you had to present your book as a menu, what would it read like?
I think because the book takes place in Iran, I think I would actually follow the sort of Iranian format of eating, which is that there would be no menu, which would mean that a little bit like the book, you just sit down and you just get immersed in food coming from every direction, and every time you think you understand how the meal is going to progress, something new arrives, some different flavor arrives. When you think you finish eating, tea and sweets arrive. When that's finished, then a watermelon comes. Then when that's finished, yet more, bread and rice and stews arrive. I think for me, the way the book unfolds, it's that everything, you just don't know what's going to happen next. And so I guess in a way, if I think of a metaphor for the book in a menu term, it would be very much like a Persian meal, where it's a very kind of long, drawn out, delicious, multi-layered, multi-flavored process.
This is your first book. On top of that, yours is an autobiographical book. So how does that feel? How did the book come about?
Well, I didn't think about writing a book. My trip to Iran was for other things I wanted to achieve. I'd always wanted to go to Iran. I was obsessed with Persian food, really wanted to learn about Persian food, was really interested in Iranian culture. But then the experiences that I wound up having there, meeting this young man, spending time with his family, learning to cook with his mother, and then eventually having a romance with him. When I left, it was just such an amazing story, and so many people who heard about it, friends, encouraged me to write about it. And when I started, people who were reading it had a reaction that I felt that there was something beautiful to tell, and that encouraged me. I was very conscious when I was telling the story about how it would come off. I was very conscious about the way Iran would be perceived, because very few Western women have ever written about Iran, or if people write about Iran, Westerners, they generally will write, political, analysis of Iran, and this is a very personal story. So I think you're aware of the fact that people can judge you, you're aware of the fact that not everyone might understand or make the decisions you make, but I think I just wrote the most honest and truthful account of my time there, and hope that people would take something from it, learn it, and enjoy kind of taking that journey vicariously with me through my book.
So what's next for you? Are you still cooking? Are you going to be writing another book?
Well, I'm always cooking. I'm probably thinking about food subconsciously now as we're talking. I do plan to start writing again. I always write in libraries, so there's a library near me that's open 24 hours at the moment because it's exam time. So I'm planning to start going actually next week and starting to write book 2. So,
do you have any clues for us as to what the next book is going to be about?
I still have quite a lot of experiences that are personal that I think would make an amazing second book. Whether or not it'll be purely autobiographical or a sort of autobiographical, semi-autobiographical fiction, the exact route I'm not entirely certain about, but I know what the theme will be, and it will be, if people thought this was intimate and raw and personal, the next one will be even more so.
Wow. So now for some random questions. Imagine it's your perfect day. What music would you be listening to?
I would probably have a radio station actually that I would have piped into wherever I was. There's actually a region in the north of Serbia called Vojvodina, and they have Radio Vojvodina. And the reason I like it so much for the music they play is they tend to play quite a lot of old classical music and folk music, which is quite sentimental and really beautiful to listen to, but also it's a region that's very multicultural. So you would hear, Romanian, you would hear Hungarian, you would hear Serbian, you would even hear very old dialects of German being spoken, and that would be woven in through the music. And so to be able to listen to that would be beautiful, it would be lovely.
What would you be wearing?
On my perfect day, something comfortable. Ideally, I'd be barefoot. In fact, being barefoot is always good for me. And probably I would have my favorite garment with me, which is a pashmina I bought in India about 10 years ago. And when you bought a good pashmina, because when you lift it up and you drop it, it just falls like a cloud. It's very, very light, and you could probably pass it through a wedding ring. It's very, very sort of, the material it's made of is very, very fine, and it's a lovely thing to wrap around yourself and just cocoon yourself in. So I love bringing that. I bring that with me everywhere I go.
What would you be eating?
Well, my perfect day, I definitely wouldn't wake up in London. I'd wake up in my favorite city, which is Budapest. It's my favorite city in the world. I plan to live there one day. It's where I'd like to grow old. And I remember spending quite a lot of time there a few years ago. In fact, I wrote one of the chapters of the book there. And I used to go for lunch almost every day in this sort of, kind of like a canteen. They had like big long wooden tables. And for lunch, they just had one dish every day. And you'd walk in, you'd say menu, and then these lovely women would just come and bring you a bowl of some kind of stew or something like that. And every day it cost £2.85. And there's no choices. And I really like going to a place actually where there's no choices, where you can't say I'd like this without that or this on the side. You're just giving in, you just kind of say feed me, and they bring you something. And it was really the kind of food my grandmother would have cooked. Really kind of, hearty, thick food that's not very sexy, but it's still really delicious. So I would eat there.
Nothing to do with a perfect day, but if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Probably to relive perfect days over and over again, to be able to relive moments that are wonderful, rather than try and always recreate them or find them again in other ways.
Very romantic. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for answering these questions. We have many more for you coming up.
I look forward to it.
Yes.
Poppy Loves Book Club is no ordinary book club. Poppy Loves Book Club sees women from all around the world, all reading the same book at the same time. And then we all come together online on the last Wednesday of every month to discuss it. The really exciting bit is often the author joins us as well, so you can post your questions to them directly. If you would like to join Poppy Loves Book Club, it's really, really easy. There are just two things you need to do. Number one, sign up. Number two, join the Poppy Loves Book Club Facebook group. Just head over to my blog, poppyloves.co.uk, and follow the links to book club. I really look forward to seeing you online soon.